Hey everybody, it's Chad. Nobody else is on. 7 o'clock Sunday evening, time for some Sunday night live chat. We'll see how tonight goes. Obviously, being a holiday weekend, you never know if everybody's going to be busy or if and not have time to get on, or if everybody's going to be not worried about not working tomorrow and have more people on. So we'll see how tonight goes. I never know when we get on a holiday weekend whether we're going to have anybody show up or a bigger crowd than normal. So we'll see what happens. But Colorado Memorial's here, ready to go. Jim's here. Charles is on. Pete's here. Weston's here. So we got a few guys on here and ready to go. Looks like we are connecting on Facebook as well. As always, we are live on two formats, both Facebook and YouTube. So as you see me glancing back and forth between the monitors, that's what I'm doing, keeping up with comments. Big Job's here. Bill Wagaman's here. Michael Glagola's on Facebook with us. So we'll keep an eye on that. And Kevin L., Ken Schultz from Michigan. Bill Disk is here. And as always, if you are on the Nobody Show Facebook page, I cannot see those comments. If you want to comment, participate in the auctions, you'll need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page, as this is a shared video from that page, or the Nobody Show YouTube channel if you want to comment, participate in the auctions or anything like that. If you just want to hang out and watch, you're perfectly good there. Dad's here with us. Leo's on. Travis is here. So it looks like Leo's got his group together. Leo and Travis ready to go tonight. Let's get things boogieing with a few badges right out of the gate. And as always, not only the Nobody Show page, we get a little more housekeeping out of the way. Autocorrect, please double check your autocorrect before you hit send. If I cannot make out your comment and it doesn't make any sense due to autocorrect changing it, I will skip it, move to the next comment. Trolls, as always, I ignore the trolls. They want my attention because they can't get enough from their mommy. So I ignore them. You guys do a great job of making sure they know that they are not welcome here. So I appreciate that. Nathan's Mopar Garage is here. Scott's on with us. Kenny Peterson's ready to go. So anyway, since we are ready to go, throw a share out there. Let your friends know that we're on. Super chats are awesome. Occasionally you guys throw up super chats. That's super cool. And we're going to give you an Auburn badge to think about things with. Steel Ponies, Jeff is here. So like I said, we'll kind of see how tonight goes, whether we need to make any modifications or change anything or shorten anything up. If depends on if we have anybody on tonight. I just never know on a holiday weekend, so we'll see how things go if we keep a steady crowd and how things roll from there. But yeah, like that, Kevin. Yeah. Well, what is a troll? They're just trying to get everybody's attention. That's all they want to do. So Alex is here with us. But Bill liked the Trans Am and the Mustang video. Yeah, we'll get to those here in a second. But before we get too far into that, I want to throw something at you guys. I'm thinking about shuffling things up a little bit. And the fact that Bill made that comment is perfect because of the way it plays into it. We typically do new inventory towards the end of the episode. However, a lot of times it gets drug into open chat because of what was going on that week. So I'm thinking about moving the new inventory section up to right, essentially with or right after the open chat. And that's because a lot of times that gets brought up earlier, just like when Bill mentioned the Trans Am and the Mustang video. The other thing I was going to move, and I want your guys' opinion on this, is Brian Dispatch is here. The raffle. I was going to move the raffle up in front of the magazine after the auction to talk about who's in, when we do, and even when we do the drawing, just kind of move the raffle between the auctions and the magazine. Because, a lot of people, if we have a really good magazine that goes really long, I know a lot of you guys, especially the guys back east, it's pretty tough for you guys to stay late. Pete says Pete already likes the idea. Reason being, especially with the raffle, I don't want to move the raffle too early. I don't want to put it up with open chat or around badges or emblems, because we got a lot of friends in California who, and they've actually told me, 5 o'clock, we're still out in the yard, we're still out running errands, and they're just not ready. They just don't have time to get on. So Dennis is here. So far, a good response to the idea, so I hope it works out for you. So I think if we move the raffle to between the auction and the magazine, and just regularly, even when we talk about, who's in for the week, all that, we'll just plug that whole segment in there. That way, when we get done with the magazine, we got a few more ideas. Anything else we got to discuss, we can do that at that point and wrap up. That way, anybody who, like I said, especially the guys back east who have to work the next day and need to crash, they're not missing anything except maybe the end of the magazine. So So anyway, let's see. Alan's here. That's right. I understand that, Bill. I know not everybody's on Central Standard Time, so. But that's what I'm thinking. If there's any objections, please just let me know. But that's kind of where I'm thinking about plugging those two segments in to maybe make things flow a little better, and that way, because like we know how good some of these magazines get and how much time they take sometimes. That way, nobody's left hanging on the raffle or anything on those weeks. So. Anybody doesn't like it or has better ideas, be sure to let me know. So far, a lot of good response to it already right out of the gate. So yeah, Hudson badge while we're going over that. So anyway, we'll start plugging those segments in at a little different spots. So and see how that works. But anyway, yeah, back to the Trans Am and the Mustang. Eloy's here with us. Yeah, I know you've been busy, Eloy. I think busy is an understatement for Eloy with the move he's got going. But oh yeah, we're gonna do the promo in the normal spot, Bill. We're gonna do the promo just like what we've always been doing. That won't change. So. But the Trans Am and the Mustang, those are not my cars. A buddy of mine found those, but they were such cool cars that I had to go do content on them. So that I thought they were really great cars. Obviously, the Mustang been in storage for almost 50 years. The Trans Am's been in storage for 40 years. So pretty neat cars, and was pretty excited to go do those videos. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed them as well, because it was cool stuff, and I thought it was well worth sharing and well worth throwing up there. So, but and the Mustang is still available. I think the Trans Am is spoken for, but the Mustang is still available. If anybody wants to know, if you guys have anybody that knows, anybody that wants a '67 Fastback, you're not going to find a much better car than this to build. Nate's here with us. Nate's driving home from King of the Open Road in Oklahoma City, so he's hanging out with us while he was driving home. So. Yeah, super cool cars. If you missed those videos, those are well worth going back to check out, because they are neat cars and definitely not stuff that you see on a regular basis, especially cars that have been in dry storage for decades and just came back out to light. So anyway, what else is happening? What else is going on? Actually, less than 2 weeks, week and a half, Mecum, Tulsa. And I am planning on going. So I don't know if any of you guys are going to try to catch Mecum Tulsa or not, but I am planning on going. I am covering it for Old Cars Weekly. So obviously going to want to go down and see Doug at Auburn Court Duesenberg. So I am planning on being there. If any of you guys are going to catch Mecum Tulsa, be sure to let me know. Pete is going to be there, sweet. So touch base with me, before then. And they obviously, if you guys haven't looked, they have cut it back to 2 days. It was a 3-day sale. They cut it back to just Friday and Saturday. It looks like it's going to be. It's starting to fill up. When they cut it down to 2 days, then obviously you figure they weren't getting as many cars as they expected. However, with Indy just wrapping up last weekend, obviously Indy's a huge deal. It's like an 8 or 10 day deal. So it's one of those things that. Obviously, when their hands are that full, they're not going to get the Tulsa list populated as quickly as you would expect with a project like that going on. So it did start filling up this week. Be curious to see what all they do or don't end up with. Kevin Allen's going to try to make it, so maybe we can catch up with some of you guys down there. It's always a good time. It's always a lot of fun, and you always get to check out a ton of cool cars. So, which is always a win. Auburn badge. So that's about all I had to talk about. Kind of not an exciting week other than what I did pick up this week. Obviously, if we're going to slide new inventory in here now. What came in this week, I went and got a cab and a bed that I bought like 4 years ago, finally. 48 to 50 Ford cab, as well as a 58, 59 Chevy short fleet side bed that somebody made a trailer out of years ago. That's a pretty straight old bed. So excited to get those in. Picked up a G-Body Malibu, like a 78, 79, 80 four-door. It's pretty rough, but it's got a good header panel on it, some other pieces that, in any of that G-Body stuff's getting so tough to find. Mike's here with us, as well as a 94 Corvette that we picked up this week. Actually, Dad bought it. Pretty nice car. 96,000 miles, so it's got a few miles on it, but it is a pretty decent car. It drove out really well, so Dad picked that one up. Probably going to be going to the auction this fall, but pretty nice little Corvette. It's got 96 style wheels on it and white, black interior, glass top coupe, so pretty decent little car. So that's what came in this week as we kind of start working new inventory in along with some of the open chat stuff, just like we're talking about the Mustang and the Trans Am and things like that. So Jeff from Ottawa was here. Jim, GMC and Chevy both sold trailers before World War II. I'm not sure where you're going with that, Jim, on that comment. This was a pickup bed trailer that this was a pickup box. Somebody cut the pickup in half and made a trailer out of the bed. And that's how I found it. Weston just went past the yard yesterday. The 63 Chevy Wrecker is it's a C30, 63 C30 custom cab with one of those wrecker units that sits in the back of the bed is what it is. It's a complete truck, and it's not a bad truck. I've been going to do a video on it, actually, Weston. That is one that I do need to get a video done on because it's a super cool truck. But yeah, 63 Chevy custom cab C30. And it's weird, it's a C30, but it's a custom cab. So who knows? Nate needs that bed. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet bed, actually. But anyway, on to the promo model, on to some badges and emblems. And then, of course, some story time. Ryan and Amy are here. And since we did the Fastback Mustang video last week, I was going through some promos trying to decide what to do. And I had a Fastback Mustang we hadn't looked at yet, so I thought we'd do that. Although it's not a 67, it is actually a 1966 Mustang Fastback in vintage burgundy. And it's not a bad little promo. It's not perfect, but it's got some wear to it. But the bumpers and lights are intact, but you can see the chrome's worn off the tips, which I guess being worn off the tips is better than the tips being busted off. Kind of the same on the front. The front bumper tips and everything are all still intact. All the original tires and wheels and everything. And obviously the bottom of it, just a basic stamped piece of plastic or molded piece of plastic. This one, however, does not have specifications on it like some of the Fords from this era does. So now, one thing that's unique about this car, as I show you the top of it, something looks a little out of place on the hood. And it's pretty rough, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to make this out or not. I'll give you a close-up up here. But this sticker is actually supposed to be there. Shopcat's here. This sticker actually said, if I can even read it, it looks like Walco's 1966 Sales Carnival, May 9th through July 1st. And it looks like a Mustang coupe on it. And it actually had some handwritten stuff, probably from the salesman on. So I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to make this out or not. I'll show it to both cameras for a second. See if you guys can make out this sticker. But actually, it looks like the dealership stuck this on here when they were handing these out at a big sales promotion deal. Walco 66 Sales Carnival. So I thought about trying to take it off and clean it off because I think it would. It's kind of a papery sticker. So, but I was like, it's kind of almost a piece of the story that it's still on there, 50 plus years later. So a pretty decent piece. And it does have a detailed interior if you guys can make it out with buckets, console, and everything. So, So there it is, the 1966 Mustang Fastback in vintage burgundy. Yeah, and I bet from your end it may almost look brown, but it does have some red to it if you can get the light just right on it. So Pete says as long as it's legible, yeah, and it's kind of legible. There's enough there to tell what it is. So yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of a neat piece of the story. But kind of a cool little promo for tonight. Well, that's why we did it, Kenny. Well, what the heck? Because we just did the Mustang video. I figured we'd do the Mustang promo. Auburn badge. Bill, leave the sticker on. Nice piece. Bill, not feeling too well. He's going to jump off. So glad you were here for a little bit tonight, Bill, and hung out for a little bit with us. On to some badges. As usual, we'll start off with a pre-war badge, and then we will get into a post-war badge. The first one, this was kind of tricky. It actually took me a few minutes to actually find this one. I have not heard anything about Mark. No, I talked to him, I think Monday morning was the last I've heard from him. So have not heard anything from him since. I assume everything went smooth. He just is probably pretty sore because I think they were going to have to do something where they were going to have to crack him open. So he was not looking forward to being sore after that. So, but this first badge, it took me a little bit. I had an idea, but it still took me a little bit, even on working through the American Auto Emblems website, to figure out what this one exactly was, because it was a little bit tricky. And I did finally find it on this 1934 Graham, a late 1934 Graham. Originally went by Graham Page is what this one went by originally, but very unique piece with this oval shaped badge with the three fellas on it here. Now, when I looked at the American Auto Emblems website, trying to remember which one this one was, I knew I had seen it, but I wasn't sure. And there were actually two different badges in 34. This one was actually used in a couple of different locations. It was used as the grill badge, but also used on the luggage rack. Now, the earlier 34s actually had a blue enamel badge that said Graham. This was introduced in late 34 with these guys on it. So, Bill, too much weekend still. Got 2 days to get through everything. Ready for a street rod show. Yep. We'll get some rest, Bill, and take it easy. So, yeah, it's a pretty unique piece. It really is. Definitely different. It's about 2 5/8 by about 1 5/8 inches, so a little over 2.5 by a little over 1.5 inches, roughly. It was stud mount. It still got part of the stud on the back of it. And I believe it had, actually, I bet that was a guide pin. It appears as though this did have a button on it like a lot of the other ones did. It's the Graham Brothers. Okay, that's what it was. Alex says it was the Graham Brothers. So this was apparently a guide pin, and it had like one of those buttons that got smooshed flat to hold it on the back of it for this badge here with the Graham Brothers on it. So a pretty unique piece and definitely something a little bit different. So let's move forward a few decades to another badge. And actually, this is, well, for one of my favorite cars, however, this is a different generation of it. Moving up to a Pontiac badge from the early Firebirds. I believe this is the one that went on the front fender. This would have had a plastic insert, which has fallen out, as opposed to an enamel insert like a lot of the earlier badges did. This is also a metal badge, stud mount, that has a curvature to it because I believe it mounted on the front fender of the early Firebirds. Now, this was pretty much just first gen. As they got into the second generation cars into the 70s, obviously they worked their way towards the Screaming Chicken. These were pretty common on the 67 to 69s, but once they got into the second generation cars, these were pretty much gone. Like I said, this is a smaller one. They had these on the fuel door. They had them on the front fenders. This is about 2¼ by 1.5 inches. So about 2¼ by 1.5 inches on this little Firebird. Like I said, this would have had plastic inserts in it in red and black to help complete this piece, which have just aged, deteriorated, and fallen out over the years. But it's such a unique badge, only being used for a few years. Obviously, the second generation Trans Ams have become off the rails popular, and these little first generation badges are something you just really don't see all that often anymore. So something a little different. I seen it in the box. I was like, that's probably worth looking at. So looks like you guys liked it as well. So that's what we've got tonight for badges is the 34 gram, the late edition of the 34 gram, as well as the 67 to 69 era Firebird badge. But that's what's great about doing badges like this. Two completely different generations, two completely different cars, but we get to talk about both of them all in the same segment just by going through these little badges that we can hold in our hands, pop up here, look at, check them out, and talk about the history of them. How about some story time? Let's look at an old car that, that we picked up years ago that, of course, is long gone by now. But this one actually sat around for quite a while. Kenny liked them. Alex liked them. A lot of people liked them. And like I said, that's what's great about badges. We got these badges, which are always good. But two completely different generations with two completely different cars. And we get to talk about all that history all in one segment. And doing it every week. We're mixing it up with different stuff all the time. But this next car, we're doing story time. We actually bought this car years ago. Dad was actually going to build it before he found a restored one and ended up buying it. So that's another good point, Jim. Neither one of them remain anymore. But Dad always wanted a 51 Roadmaster convertible. And years ago, when we were a kid, Dad found a project car in Texas. And we went down and got it. Well, about 20 years ago, he actually found a restored car in the particular color that he wanted. So he actually just ended up buying the restored car. And this one went down the road as to somebody else's project. These pictures aren't real good. It was when it was stored inside. But here it is, a 1951 Buick Roadmaster convertible. It was originally, I believe, kind of that light greenish color. Somebody had actually added 52 rear fender ornaments to this car. 51 did not originally have these rear fender ornaments. That was a 52 piece that they added to it. Bill's a porthole fan. Yep, and being a Roadmaster, this one had 4. This was a good, complete car. Just needed everything. And when Dad found the one that was essentially what he was going to build this one into, that was already done, he just went and bought it and ended up selling this car off. But this car did sit around for several years with intentions of doing something with it. It just never came together. And then obviously finding one that was done in the color scheme he wanted, perfect way to do it. So Scott's here with us on Facebook. So we went down to Texas and brought this back, as well as a 52 Roadmaster 4-door parts car. Hauled them all the way back up here, and like I said, sat on it for several years with plans of building it. Just never happened. And then, like I said, it worked out really well finding a car in the actual color combination he wanted. And this one went down the road. But there it is, tucked away in storage years and years ago, probably sometime back in the mid-90s, I'm guessing, is when these pictures were taken of this 51 Roadmaster convertible. Tony's here with us. So we want to do a few auctions. We got the auctions, we got magazine, we got all kinds of cool stuff to do. We got the drawing to talk about. Obviously, we're moving along pretty quick tonight. We don't have a huge crowd on tonight. Kevin just bought a new Buick Friday. It definitely does not like that one. Yeah, I bet not. They are still making a lot of really good cars. However, Buick is pushing to shift to all electric. Obviously, we all have our doubts on how that's going to go, but Buick is definitely pushing to move everything to all electric. And in all honesty, at least in this part of the world, there are not a lot of Buick dealerships left. GM has pushed a lot of them out because they're wanted them to force them to go all electric. And most people in the real world understand that that isn't reality. It's just not going to happen as quick as they expect it to happen. And I think the reality of it is, and like a lot of us have talked about in the past, this big push to electric just ain't going to happen that quick. I just don't think it's going to. You guys don't think it's going to. No Buick City and Flint either. Yep. And I read another interesting article on electric cars this week that we actually we can bring up real quick too. That's something that even I hadn't thought about. And it was actually an article out of England that brought up an entire another point about pollution. That's right, Alex. You can't waste 3 hours refilling a tank. And I had not thought about this at all. But there's a whole nother aspect that nobody has even touched on until I read this article, and the article was 200% correct. Electric vehicles notoriously are heavier. Those battery packs are super heavy. They are heavier than your normal car because of what that battery pack weighs. And we all know that. I mean, we've all discussed that and thought about it. The part of it that I had not thought about that was brought up in this article that was so dead on as far as pollution and waste and things like that. Tires. You've got a heavier vehicle, it is going to wear tires faster. It's just going to. It's carrying more load. When you brake, when you turn, you've got much more mass pushing that car. Tires. It's just you're gonna have tire. Old car guys here. And I hadn't even thought about that. Mike says Google how the batteries are made. I bet that's a huge eye opener. But they said the tires to a certain extent do right, and that's right, Brian. And it's harder on public roads because of the weight. The excessive tire wear. All those little teeny tiny microscopic particles of rubber that are wearing off are going somewhere. So you do have that. Plus you have the wear factor. You're going to go through them quicker. You're going to have more waste. I mean, it's a whole nother deal, that isn't even being brought up. Nate's been going to training to work on them. Life expectancy of most EVs are around, is that 10,000 or 100,000? Nate, I'm guessing 100,000. Same amount of plastics. Yep, that's true too. So where does it end? I mean, a lot of us understand that this is not feasible, but there's even way more aspects than a lot of people have even thought about. So, I mean, you're going to wear tires faster. You're going to chew them up quicker. Those rubber particles are going to be in the air. You're going to have more tires to dispose of. 10,000. Nate says the training they're seeing, they're expecting is 10,000 miles on tires. So think about how fast you're going to go through tires if that's only expected to get 10,000 miles out of them. That's crazy. But they're good for us, right? So we'll see what happens, but obviously less and less of it continues to add up. I guess that's the best way to put it. That's right, Mike. If the $40,000 car, $30,000 replace the battery, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't click. It just doesn't make sense. Alex says after 50,000 miles, you typically need a new battery at 20 grand. That's right. Yeah, they'll scrap out more, says Weston. But yeah, the thing about it though is you can't just scrap them because it's different materials. So who knows? There again, the deeper and deeper we get into this electric vehicle fiasco, the less and less sense that it makes. So, like I said, it all goes back to what we talked about in the past about who's pushing this. And I believe this to be correct. The utility companies, the electric companies, are who is pushing it because then they control your house, they control your car, and they can charge you whatever you want, and they can turn you on and turn you off at will. So, 40 million to electrify school buses, and that stuff I can actually see. Electrifying school buses and some of that stuff where it's in a controlled environment. It's back in the same place every night. It sits there for so long. It doesn't need to get up and go to the store at 10 o'clock at night. That type of stuff is the only thing that makes any sense, even though it's not cost effective. That's the only type of situation where that stuff makes any sense. And that's another good point, Old Car Guy, like we've talked about in the past. The infrastructure isn't even there to do it yet. California can't handle what they've got now, and they want to add to it. So, but and that's right, Kenny. Just like we talked about, the electric companies. Oh, we can't handle it. The grid's overloaded. Your rates are going up, or you get turned off. Follow the money. That's it. So, and Ryan saying, like Ryan Naaman said, electric forklifts. They're inside. They're in a warehouse. You plug them in it. They sit overnight. That type of idea works. But general public, normal use, I can absolutely not see any feasible way that any of that makes any sense. So, Tesla's helping Ford out with the charging stations. Yeah, and the charging stations, obviously, that's a whole nother deal too, because how are you going to have enough charging stations to handle this? Look at the gas stations we have now to keep up with things, and you're in and out of there in 5 minutes. You're going to sit there at a charging station for an hour. How's that going to work? There you go, Old Car Guys. Get a square body running on French fry grease. That's a double win there. Then you got to eat more fries. Shopcat says their electric city buses are awful. But anyway, let's keep moving into some auction stuff. We'll see how things go tonight. We've got a smaller crowd tonight, so we'll throw a few things up. We'll see what happens. If you guys are having fun and we're boogieing along, we'll go ahead and do them. If not, we may just do a handful of things tonight and see what shakes out. So Lee made it. Yeah, that's right. You get jacked at a charging station. That's true. You got to sit there so long waiting to get to charge up. I can see that happening too. Auburn badge. But like I said, we've talked about it before. We'll talk about it again, I'm sure. It just doesn't make any sense as far as what they expect that to become. So, yeah, they won't get far in a dead battery. So, but glad Jason's hanging out with us tonight, the Old Car Guy here. Hadn't stopped by in a while, so good to see you here tonight. And let's go ahead and start working towards a few auction pieces. And what the heck? Let's do another random drawing. We haven't done any random drawings yet tonight. Oh. Random drawing. And remember, these are strictly random. These do not affect your chances for next week. You can win one of these every night as well. And your name goes right back into the Big Buick Oil Can for next week's drawing. We got one name. What is it? Kenny Peterson. All right. Let's grab the other can. And let's yank something out of here. I don't know. I forgot what most of this stuff is by now. It's been in here for a couple weeks. What do we got? I don't know. We're going to write Kenny's name on it. I am going to take this marker. Shopcat's digging a can, yeah. It's a present from the Gray Kitty. Yeah. All right, Kenny, I got your name on it. I swear I wrapped these up a little too good. Bow tie badge. So bow tie badge for Kenny. So, all right. As always, these will go in your next package. I do not ship these individually. Stable her bag up here. For Kenny Peterson. And like we said, these do not, Kenny's out for tonight, but right back into the Big Buick Oil Can for next week's drawing. So after we go do some auctions, we will run through who is in for the night or for who got in this week. And we'll probably yank another random name here after a while. So anyway, let's do a few auction pieces and we'll see what happens tonight as far as the crowd goes. Since we are down a few people, we may just do a few things so not everybody misses out on stuff. Like I said, holiday weekends, you never know for sure what's going to happen. But we'll go ahead and we'll definitely do a few things and get stuff rolling, see what you guys think. As always, we will go through an item. We'll talk about an item. We'll hold it up. We'll show it to you. We'll show you the front. We'll show you the back. We'll talk about the condition. We'll show you the flaws. We'll give you the dimensions. While we're doing that, if it's a piece that you're interested in, go ahead and throw a bid up there. After we get done describing it, we will put it on a timer on my phone right here. We will go 2 minutes. I will tell you when 1 minute has passed. I will tell you when 1:30 has passed. As always, everybody has a delay depending on your device as well as your service. Phone, smart TV, PC, tablet, all that type of stuff affects your feed as well as your internet provider. Some people have a 5-second delay. Some people have a 30-second delay. That's why I'll tell you when 1.5 minutes has passed so that there's 30 seconds left to go. So you will know to jump in with your max bid if you want to bid on that particular piece. At the end of 2 minutes, the high bid that I can see, be it on YouTube or Facebook, depending on whatever it is the winner, and we will mark it down to them. Anything that comes in after that, it's just too late. So, Mike Guy, the barbecue's done. All right. So I'll be keeping an eye on this timer on my phone. I'll tell you right now when 1 minute has passed on a particular piece, and we can keep moving forward after that. So we'll see what happens tonight. We will probably do a more abbreviated version tonight. We'll see what happens. We're definitely going to add some pieces to your guys' collections, as we always do, because it's a lot of fun, and we got some killer stuff, actually, and I have everything tonight. License plates, hubcaps, grease caps, cans, toys, it's just literature. We got a ton of great stuff in here. So, as always, before we get into the auction, hit refresh. Make sure you are caught up and current. So be sure to hit your refresh, and I'm going to dig through my boxes of coolness and see what we can come up with to get things rolling. So where should we start tonight? Just rounding up a few things here to kind of get going. Okay. All right, let's start off with some cans. We'll start off with a couple of cheaper things here to kind of get rolling. As always, as we go through this stuff, I will read all the bids that I see as I see them on the first couple of pieces. That way you guys get an idea of what I'm seeing versus what you're seeing, because sometimes you're seeing stuff quicker than I am. I will read all bids when I see them, especially on the first few pieces, even if it's not the high bid, just so you guys have an understanding of where I'm at and what I'm seeing. We're going to start off with a couple of cans, a pair of cans, both from Texaco tonight. We've done some of these in the past. This one's kind of a little bit different, though. On this metal Haviland quart. Nice bright colors, a little surface rust around the top. It has been cut out on the top, but it is an actual metal quart, as well as this metal Texaco water pump grease can. And this is a little bit smaller. I'll hold it up to the quart so you can kind of compare the two and kind of get an idea for the difference. It's about the same diameter. It's a little bit smaller in diameter and definitely shorter than the quart. Travis is starting us off at 10. This does have the original lid. It is empty. I did empty it. The red is a little bit faded, and it does have a little bit of paint loss. Charles at 12. But both old school, actual metal, original metal steel cans with paint, not stickers, not cardboard, old school metal Texaco. Dennis at 20. So, kind of neat pieces. We're going to start off with these. We are live on the timer. I'm going to make my notes. As always, I keep a list as we go through all this on the auction pieces. Dennis at 20 on the Texaco cans. John's here. This little water pump can also has a star on the back. Actually, the red on that actually isn't too bad, but it is the red on the front does have some fading, so this must have sat towards the window at some point in its life. Getting both of them, one bid shipped to you. Dennis at 20. As we hit the 1 minute mark, Dennis at 20. It's smaller, yeah, like the old Gojo. Let me give you a dimension on it. 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. So 3 3/4, 3 1/4 tall with the lid on it. So yeah, it actually looks like it's maybe a little bit smaller than the old Gojo cans. And there's the minute 30 mark. Minute 30 has passed. Dennis at 20. Travis at 21. David's on with us on Facebook. Travis at 21. Try to keep an eye on both formats. You never know when Facebook's going to jump in. We're coming down to the wire. Travis at 21. And that does it. Travis at 21. Dennis at 23. Just about a second too late. Travis must have seen it because he was coming back. But I had Travis at 21 at the 2 minute mark. Oh, and one thing I wanted to go through real quick before we get too deep into the auctions tonight. From April, I've got a couple things hanging from April. X-Ray Dean, I was still need to go through your stuff. Eric Roseberry, I've got one from you for April, and that's it. So X-Ray, which we need to go through your list anyway because we're not jiving on that. And then Eric Roseberry. That's all I've got hanging from April right now. So Plunkerville found a 50s A&P coffee can. The old grocery. Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. All right. Auburn badge. Let's do another one of these little grease caps. I've got a ton of these things. I've been sorting through them, and I love these things. They're great for hanging on the wall. That's why actually I've got some hanging up here. My Auburn 12 and my other Auburn 12 on these little grease caps. So this one, it's an original used one. It's got some dings and dents, but it's a cool one for probably a mid to late 20s era Buick. And a lot of these were slightly different. I mean, I've got some different Buick ones in my box I've been sorting through, and a lot of differences in them, even though sometimes not major. There are a lot of differences in them. This one took a whammo right on the Buick, but you can still make out the script. That script is actually cast into the piece. You can see it on the back. It does have typical dings and dents all the way around the outside edge of it. This is an aluminum cap on this Buick grease cap. Old car guy at 5. This one is, actually, Brian, I've got like 3 different styles that are almost identical. David W. made it. 3.5 inch and 3/4. Old car guy at 5. 3.5 inch and 3/4. Old car guy's kicking us off at 5. Doug's here. And let's get rolling on the Buick grease cap. And I need to start looking for what else we need to be doing. Alex at 25. Old car guy, 26. $120 is passed. Old car guy at 26. Billy Bowman's here tonight. Alex at 32 as we hit the minute 30 mark. $20 seconds left to go. Alex at 32. Jason's done. And that does it. Alex at 32. How about a license plate? Hudson badge. This is a 76, 78, 79, 80 license plate, all in one. Yes, this is when they first started using stickers in Kansas, at least. 76 was the last metal plate for a few years, and then they started adding stickers to it. For some reason, I don't know what happened to the 77 sticker, but this plate looks great. It's got great color, nice deep blue shine. You can see the reflection on it. The 76 is stamped into it. It was an actual metal plate from 76. Then we've got the 78, the 79, and the 80 sticker all added to this plate. This is a standard size plate, basically 12 by 6. Yep. The back was actually just stamped metal. It's got a goober or something over here. It looks like JB Weld or something stuck to the back, but it doesn't affect the front of it. Leo at 15 on it. We can obviously see this as a nice deep blue with white letters, and then it's cool. You know, you're supposed to put the stickers on top of each other every year. Obviously, this person just kind of stuck them randomly wherever they happen to feel like at that point on this one. So they're supposed to, Pete. But this one person obviously just stuck them randomly wherever they felt like. So that was the county. These two letters over here were the county. That's right, Shopcat. That's probably right. They probably used it as a palette to mix JB Weld. You're probably exactly right. So we are live on the timer on this thing. Let's see if we can see the timer in it. We can get the angle of the dangle right here. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Check out that blue reflection in that blue. Old Car Guy 16. Gary likes it on Facebook. Nice shiny plate. Kind of hard to think about. Realizing he's 47 years old now and still looks that good. So and 1 minute has passed. Shopcat, sometimes people who do their stickers line them up all the way around. Yeah, and we still see that in Kansas too. But yeah, you're supposed. I think anywhere you're supposed to just stick them over the old year so that it's easy to recognize you have a current tag. But minute 20 has passed. Old Car Guy at 16. And a minute 30 is gone. Leo at 20. 20 seconds left to go. That's right, Gary. Back when the appearance of a plate actually mattered, you wanted it to look good. Michael at 17, but I've already got Leo at 20 over here. Just about done. And that does it. Leo at 20. John's here. How about a badge bundle? Let's do some Chevy badges. Three badges in this bundle. Starting off with a bow tie, kind of similar to Kenny's. It's a little bit bigger, I think. This is a plastic bow tie. It is flat. It was double-sided tape, which means you just put pieces of double-sided tape back on it and you stick it anywhere. It's a nice size. Five inches by 1 7/8 inches. So it's 5 inches by 1 7/8 inches. And it's kind of just a grayish silver. It's not really a bright chrome. With that, a set of these rally flags, early 60s era rally flags. We've had some of these on here before in some badge bundles. 3 3/4 by about 2. This is a pot metal chrome plated piece, mounting studs, flat with mounting studs. And the last one, a 69 Chevy 327 badge. This actually was a front side marker light badge. This is a pot metal piece. It was stud mounted, but the studs are broken off the back of it. Also, this would be a good light switch cover, Put it up there around your light switch, flip your light switch on and on. It's just kind of the right size, I think, for that. And it is 6 1/4 by about 2. So it's about a little over 6 tall by about 2 wide on these Chevrolet badges. All 3 of them going together. Jason's got to bail off. Glad you were here tonight, Jason. Glad you got to hang out for a while. Appreciate you stopping by. Be sure to check out what Jason's got going on over at the Old Car Guy channel. He's always got a lot of cool stuff going on there as well. So, Chevrolet badge bundle, all 3 pieces, one-shot deal. Anybody interested in the Chevy badge bundle? You guys, usually we get pretty good response to Chevy badge bundles, but apparently nobody likes this one. So, yes, that's right, Brian. There is a 69 Impala custom two-door hardtop in the yard that was a 396 car, which is the same thing, only it said 396 right here. Leo at 10, Michael at 10. I had Leo first over here, Michael at 10 over here. So I've got Leo first at 10, Lee at car at 5. Leo at 10 is, so apparently they were all hung up, is apparently what's going on, because they all popped up at the same time. So Leo at 10 is who I saw first. We'll go from there and roll with that. Hey, cool it, dum-dums. And Gray Kitty and Chunky Butt up there just at each other. So I don't know if that's all the bids on this, if we're hung up again, because all 3 of those popped up within a few seconds of each other and then nothing happened. And the 2 on YouTube were literally like back to back. So I don't know if we're having system issues again tonight, like we did last week, or where we're at. But 1 minute has passed on the Chevy badge bundle. Leo 11. Leo's trying to cover himself probably. Figure someone's going to bump him out at the last second. 120 has passed. Minute 30 is gone. Leo at 11 on the Chevy badge bundle. And that does it. Oh, Michael at 16, like a half second too late. Holy cow, I was watching both of them. As soon as I called it, it hit 2, I called it. And like I said, hit 201, Michael 16 popped up. But to be fair, we had already called it the Leo at 11. Trust me, Michael, I'd much rather take your 16, but it was just a hair too late. Holy cow, was it literally a hair too late. Yeah, that's true. The Facebook bids are over here on the other screen. I can buy software to run them all together, but even if you do that, you still can't. You can see the comment, but you can't see the name on any of that stuff, unless the people on Facebook opt into the software. And it's it can be done, but it doesn't cost a ton of money, but it still isn't a good fix for everything. Hudson badge. What else we want to do tonight? Let's see what else we got to do. Let's do an earlier badge. This is a little bit rougher, but it's still cool. It is from the 30s era, and it was used on different years, this similar type badge for a Plymouth. This is an enamel badge. However, a lot of the enameling has been chipped out of it. We still see some of the white on the ship, but most of the black is gone. This was used from the early to the mid-30s Plymouths on various different cars in various different configurations. Alec from New Hampshire's on with us. On this little Plymouth badge here, like I said, it is kind of rough. We can still see the white on the ship. This should have been black enameling back here. We can still see some chips of it. It is all chipped off. The Plymouth letters are a part of the metal part, so that's still there. It is bent up a little bit. This was a screw mount piece. Now, this piece was actually used on multiple cars. Some of these actually sat on a big winged badge. Sometimes it would just sit on a little stand. Sometimes it was used by itself. But this particular badge was used for 5 or 6 or 7 years in different configurations. So this one's a little bit rough. Brian says 35 grill badge, and it probably was, but it was also the same thing used on multiple other years as well. Charles at 5, starting us off. Let me give you the size on this thing. Then we're going to hit the timer. 1 7/8 by 1 1/8. So a little under 2 inches tall on this little mid-30s, early to mid-30s Plymouth badge. Charles is starting us off with 5. Let's go ahead and roll with this thing. Alex at 25. Alec needs a close-up on Facebook. Let me see if I can get it up here. You see it there, Alec? A little bit better. Then I'll do the same thing for you YouTube guys. So Old Car Discover likes the light switch idea for the 327 piece. Perfect. Glad you guys on Facebook could see it. I got a screen. What I can see on Facebook on my screen's about this big, so I'm hoping you guys are seeing it well. So, Alex at 25. One minute has now passed. One minute, 20 seconds is gone. I've got Alex at 25. Minute 30 is gone. $20 seconds left to go, and all's quiet. Numero uno made it tonight. Glad number one's here. Alec at 27. Leo at 28. And that does it. Alex at 30. We were too late. Leo at 28 is who I had at the 2-minute mark. So Alex was about a second and a half late. So Leo's on a roll tonight. Leo did say click. He was serious. If Alex had been a second quicker, it wouldn't have mattered, but how about we do a hubcap? This is kind of a beast of a hubcap. We did one of these a while back, and I think you guys liked it. And I got 1 or 2 more of these, so I thought we'd do another one tonight. Hudson badge. It is nice and bright and shiny, so you might want to put some sunglasses on. This is a 40s era cap, and it is a bigger cap. It's still kind of a dog dish style, but it's a bigger one because it is about almost 12 3/4. Most of these are around 11 or 12 inches. This is a little under 13 on this particular cap for a car similar to what Alex is picking up this week, a 40s era Packard. This was, you can see a little bit of red in here. This would have originally been red. The background behind the letters would have been black. Ribbed on the sides. Leo's ready to go on this one too. Metal on the back, chrome cap on the front. On this Packard cap. This is pretty good size. It's even got some depth to it. You can kind of see it's got some how deep it is, and see how the back you can actually stick your whole hand in there. So nice, bright, shiny Packard hubcap to hang on your wall. It's got some dings and dents like all these old caps do. Alex starting us off at 25. But nice, bright, shiny chrome, like I said, great wall hanger. Could be, that would make a clock. That's true. And we are live on the timer on this one. Yeah, when Leo says click, he apparently means it. Yeah, it'd be a good piece to go with the Packard hood horn button. That's true. 1 minute has passed. And 1:20 is now gone. And there's the 1:30 mark, so we'll see what's going to happen. $20 seconds left to go. Leo at 27. Alex at 37. Just about done. Alex at 37 on the Packard cap. And that does it. Alex at 37. Charles at 40, just a little bit too late. Auburn badge. How about another plate? Number one, like the promo. Yep. Show it to you again since you just got caught up with us. Number one. There it is. It was a cool little car. First generation. That was 67, 68, or 69 Firebird. So first generation before they got to the second generation cars and started going with the what turned into the Screaming Chicken logo. This plate here is a great looking plate. It's got some wear to it, but it's got a great patinaed look to it. And considering it's, 90 years old, I guess it's got a reason to be, basically. It's a 1934 Kansas plate. Check this thing out. I love the aged look. I love the patina of this because you can still see the black on it. The service rust is over here on the edge. Randy's here. I believe this was kind of an off-white with black letters and numbers on this 34 Kansas plate. It is 14 and a half. Steel Ponies at 15. 14 and a half by about 4 3/8. So a little longer and skinnier than our normal plates that we're used to. The back has some service rust over here as well, but it was most of the paint is still here. So, yeah, the second gen had kind of the Screaming Chicken look, and they did make some badges for some of those. I've got some new ones over there in the case, actually. So, this 34 Kansas plate, Steel Ponies, Jeff, start us off at 15. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling on the timer. Good-looking piece. Travis at 17. And like I said, considering it's almost 90 years old, I guess it's got some excuses to have a little surface rust and some scratches and wear. Chris at 20. And coming up on the 1 minute mark, and there's 1 minute. Before we do the magazine, remind me of that number one. After we're done with the auctions, remind me of that. I'll run and grab them out of the case. We're glad you're back too, Chris. Glad to see you jumping in. And a minute 20's gone. Chris at 20 on this 34 plate. And there's the minute 30 mark. Alex at 25. $20 seconds left to go. Yep, July 61. Travis at 26. Chris at 30. Few seconds left. I've got Chris at 30. We're coming down to the wire. Let's see if anybody else is going to jump in. Chris at 30 at this point with a little bit left. And that does it. Chris got it at 30. It got a little hairy there for a second, but we've got Chris at 30. Steel Ponies Jeff coming in at 31 a little later. Great looking plate for $30, that's for sure. Eloy at 32. Eloy was really hung up. I'm starting to wonder if we've got some system feed issues again tonight. We'll kind of keep an eye on things. That's Chris's first win. Well, congratulations, Chris. But yeah, for the fact that I think because Eloy usually cuts them pretty close, but that was a long time afterwards. And Jeff's bids kind of seemed like they were hung up, so. Did I move something off a shelf? Not since we put the truck up there, I haven't. So we'll keep an eye on things. We'll do a few more things and we'll kind of feel it out and see what happens. I'm obviously a little bit leery after last week with the issues we ran into there. So the shirt is right here. I just flipped it around to where it says nobody. There's a nobody sign over here still that Randy did for us. It's right here. I don't think you can see it on the YouTube feed. You can see it on the Facebook feed. So, all right, let's keep moving and kind of keep an eye on things. see if this stuff kind of levels out. So Alex says somebody already had a few too many. Yeah, there we go. We'll give you a Hudson badge to go some more. I'm not sure what this one is, but I'm thinking it's Studebaker. Yeah, that's exactly, Eloy. That's why when I saw your bid pop up that late, that's when I really started getting suspicious. Because sometimes you miss, but you miss by like a second and a half. You don't miss by 10 or 15 seconds. It's like a second and a half, maybe. So, yeah, that's why I'm kind of a little bit leery as to how things are going to go. So, but this cap, let's do another one of these little grease caps. I think it's Studebaker, but I'm not sure. It's an S. It's in one of the earlier 20s era aluminum grease caps. Once again, it's almost 100 years old, so it's kind of banged up. But the S still looks really cool in it. I'm not sure if it's Studebaker or not, but for some reason, something's telling me it is. Like I've seen them in the past identified as Studebakers. Kenny did win one of the signs that Randy did as well. Yep, so that's great. You can see it's kind of dished here. This is a threaded grease cap like most of these are. It was a hex head, so you can spin it on and off, which obviously the hex has taken a beating over the years. Steel Ponies Jeff at 10. This thing overall is about 3.5 to the outside of this widest part. It's a little bit narrower in here, but it's about 3.5 out to this widest part. David W. says it is Studebaker. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Appreciate that. And it's about 2 inches deep. So David W. agrees with me. It is Studebaker. Alex at 25 on the little Studebaker cap. So we are on the timer, and I'm going to keep an eye on things as this thing ticks along and see if we run into some more serious delays on some of this stuff. Alex at 25. Yeah, that's true. They made artwork out of them back then. It's aluminum, actually. This is an aluminum cap. Minute has passed. 1 minute has passed. Stutz would have been earlier. I think they were still making Stutzes in the 20s. Randy says, hit the like button. Appreciate that. But I'm pretty sure this is not Stutz. Minute 20 is gone. Alex at 25. And there's the minute 30 mark. $20 seconds left. Yep, Studebaker block S. That's a good way to put it. Leo at 27. Coming out of the wire, I've got Leo at 27. And that does it. Leo at 27. Shopcat says the Stutz actually said Stutz on them, so. And I don't see any other bids popping up yet. Wait a few more seconds, see what else weird happens. Okay, that one seemed to have worked okay. Hudson badge. Let's do another Ford badge bundle. We haven't done a Ford badge bundle yet tonight. For our Ford friends. This first one, it's actually the V8 is broken, But this is a truck hood ornament for about a 35, 36-ish Ford truck. It's got the enamel badge on it, which is still chipped up, but this would have went right over the front of the grill. This should have had a tip of a V coming up here with the top of the 8. This was supposed to have been a V8. That's been busted off. We do still have the enamel badge on it as well. You can see how this curved over the front of the grill shell. It's actually angled back here, which is where the radiator cap would have twisted to open. So that's actually not straight, and that's intentional. That's how they were designed on this 35, 36-ish Ford truck hood ornament that was for a V8. The enamel badge on this one is a separate piece. We can see back here it does have clips on it that hold it on, so that piece actually does come off of this Ford hood ornament. Going along with this one is one of the Model A enamel badges. Just your basic Ford oval. This one is chipped over here by the F. The bulk of the blue is there, and it does still have good coloring. Steel Ponies Jeff at 15, and these are just under 3 inches long. These did have the little button on the back that pushed them down to hold them onto the grill shell. Good cane at the end of a handle. Yeah, that's true. Chris, I gave your friend Fred your info a month or so ago. He ever get a hold of you looking for a hood hinge mount for a 63 Impala? Does not ring a bell, but I talked to so many people that it doesn't ring a bell, but on that particular piece. And if he didn't leave me a message, then I wouldn't have gotten it either. So, but it doesn't ring a bell with me, but I do appreciate that, Chris. Steel Ponies Jeff at 15 on the Ford pieces. Let us get this thing rolling on the timer. Okay, we are live. We are boogieing. I got my notes made. John at 25. Steel Ponies Jeff at 26. Uh-oh, looks like Leo's getting ready to go again. And there's the 1 minute mark. Steel Ponies Jeff at 26. And there's a minute 30. Travis at 27. X-Ray Dean at 28. Minute 30 has passed. X-Ray at 28. 20 seconds left to go. Jeff 30. Travis 29. John 30. Leo 29. Eloy 30. I've got Jeff at 30. Steel Ponies Jeff at 30. Bill Disc at 38. Steel Ponies Jeff at 39, and that does it. Steel Ponies Jeff at 39. Kenny came in at 42, just a little bit too late. So let's see what the system does now. If we have anything hanging, there's John at 40. So that one got a little interesting there at the end. So X-Ray couldn't keep up. It got going too quick on him. All right, you guys happy with the way things are working? Does it all still seem to be ticking along? We've had a few snafus, but nothing extremely serious. Big Job wasn't ready for that. Because obviously after last week, I'm a little skittish as to whether or not things are going to keep going well. So we want to keep going with some more auction stuff, or we want to move on to the magazine and wrap up a little quicker tonight. What do you guys think we ought to do? We can do a few more auction pieces. We can move to the magazine. Alex says it's good on his end. So obviously looks like most of you guys are pretty comfortable with things. Eloy's like, bring on more auctions. And Michael's like, keep going. Okay. We'll keep going. We'll keep an eye on things and see if it works. So, I'm doing okay. So, just got a lot of cool stuff to dig through and see what direction we want to go next. How about some literature? We haven't done any literature in a while. Leo's ready for a free drawing. Let's get through the auctions, Leo, then we're going to do another one. And I've got some cool plates tonight, so but literature, we've done a few pieces of literature. I don't know if you guys still like it or not, but 3 toys in a row. How about some Ford stuff? I got 3 pieces of Ford stuff here. Let's do this Ford stuff. No 67 plates tonight, I don't think, Brian. No 67s in there tonight. Let's do a literature bundle on Ford pieces. We've done this a couple of times. You guys seem to dig them. So let's try it again and see what you think. 3 separate pieces of Ford literature. First off, an original owner's manual for a 59 car. This does show a little wear and tear, typical, but I mean, shoot, it's 60-some years old. It should have some wear and tear on it, but it does still seem to be intact. All the pages and everything still seem to be there in pretty decent shape. The back cover's still there as well. And a sales brochure on the 56 Fords, which this is a cool piece. All color. 59, 57, 58, 59 were all fairly similar. I don't know exactly how close they were, but I think they were fairly similar. I know 60 was completely all by itself. But this 56 showroom brochure, it's 10.5 by 6.5, and it folds open. There's the first fold out. Leo at 10. And then it folds out to this to show all the different models of 56 Fords, all in color. X-ray at 13. And then on the back, it has the engine. And one more piece to go with this one. This is a great piece here. From the Trudell Ford Company. I don't know where the Trudell Ford Company was, other than it was on 20955 Van Dyke Avenue. The total performance cars for 1964. The Ford Falcon, Fairlane, Ford, and Thunderbird. 58 and 9 were all by themselves unless it was retracked. Okay. The 64 Fords. And this has a ton of color pictures in it. This is a regular fold open brochure. Alex at 20. Now, Flathead was gone after 53 in cars, I believe. The Falcons, I think Ford cars were all over red valve in 54, if I remember correctly. The Thunderbird, and then the back cover, which broke down all the body styles. So all three pieces, I've got Alex at 20 on the 64 Ford, the 56 Ford, and the 59 owner's manual. Like I said, some stuff I got in a whole bunch of parts I bought. I didn't know if you guys would be interested in them or not, but obviously some of you guys are liking them. Let's get it rolling. Let's get it on the timer. X-ray at 21. And we are ticking along on this one. We are live. Coming up on the 1 minute mark, I've got X-ray at 21. And 1 minute has passed. Travis at 22. And there's the minute 30 mark. 30 seconds left. Travis at 22. Alex at 28. I think Kevin fat fingered a key. Yeah, that's what I thought. Leo at 30. Big Job, 33. Just about done. Big Job, 35. Big Job hit it at 35 to cover himself with, and that was it. That took care of it. Big Job at 35. All right, let's do some more emblems. Yes, that's what I figured, Kevin. 3 toys. I don't have a lot of toys tonight. I think we got a promo in here, but Plymouth badge bundle. Alex, ready? Yeah, or 33, whatever you wanted to do on that Big Job. The only thing we got to be careful about is because then you could bid anything you wanted and never, and it would never, and then the person would always win with their last bid. So these are all Plymouths, a whole batch of Plymouths. It's kind of weird. I kind of come across all these going through my boxes, and it was Plymouth and Plymouth and Plymouth. It's like, yeah, what the heck? Maybe we'll have some Plymouth fans. The first one is a plastic Plymouth. This is 80s era. It is 9 1/4 inches long, chrome plated. It is tweaked a little bit, but it is a flat piece. And you'll just put some double-sided tape on it. You can stick it anywhere. This next Plymouth, I think, is late 60s, early 70s. I knew you were big. Whatever we did, I don't really care either, guys. I really don't. So not a big deal. This is a late 60s, early 70s metal Plymouth. It is bowed a little bit, but it is metal, chrome-plated, stud mount, pop metal. It is about 8 7/8. It's a little under 9 inches long. So we've got these 2 Plymouths, very close in length, 80s, 70s, and we're going to back up into the 60s with this. This one's really cool. This is a script Plymouth. I think this is early 60s on this one. Chrome plated, pop metal. It is flat. It is stud mount. And it looks really good. It's got a few pits up. You see the reflection on that thing. This is a cool one. Charles at 10. 6 1/8 by about 3 1/8. So roughly 3 at the P and a 6 wide. Looks like 70s Duster. This is too big for that for sure. Charles at 10. It could be Valiant, but I think they used them on other Plymouths as well in that era. So all three of these together going in one shot. I've got Charles starting us off at 10 on all three of them. That's right, Kenny. You about need sunglasses for this thing. Oh, the second one. I think they use that on full-size cars and everything. So Kenny says that's a 63 Plymouth Fender, which would be about right. Yeah, this kind of block script I think they used it on Dusters and big cars and darts and everything. So but we've got Charles at 10 right now. Handful of Americana. Yes, it is. That's true. X-Ray at 12. 1 minute has passed. We hit the 1 minute mark. $120 has passed. And there's the minute 30 mark. $20 seconds left to go. X-Ray at 12. Charles at 16. Pete at 18. And that does it. Pete at 18. Charles came back at 21 just a little bit too late. Yeah, that was a good buy. Because that 63 one is really cool. All right, we got another super cool badge. I'll give you an Auburn badge to think about it. But this next one is great. I think you guys are going to dig it. I'm going to polish it a little bit here, make her shine a little bit better for you. So we had something similar to it a while back, and you guys really liked it. I think you're going to like this one as well. Auction literature was some of those cars on. I don't think I got any. Well, I kind of got Mopar literature, but kind of not. I got some funky Mopar literature in here. But we'll see what we get to after this. This badge, I love this badge. And if I didn't already have a couple of them, I wouldn't even be selling this one. But we had one similar to it a while back, and you guys really ate it up. There's a Hudson badge to think about it. So I thought we'd try another one because I like these too. Because we all figured out that we're all fan of buffaloes, or bison, as Addie would correct me. Yes, we all like the buffaloes. And so did Kaiser. This thing's so cool. Check this out. Oh, yeah, I love these. The big K, it's got the buffalo on it. We see it's got a little bit of pitting in it. This is V'd. It was a front hood badge. Stud mount. This does appear to be original green and black paint on this one, however. So it does have some scratches in the paint, things like that. That's what leads me to believe it is original. This piece is almost 5 inches, not counting the V. X-ray at 15. And it's 2 7/8 at the tip. 2 7/8. Pete at 35. So cool piece. I figured you guys would dig it. It's it's got to be late 40s. They only made Kaiser from right after the war up into the mid 50s. This I want to say was, I don't know, 48, 49, somewhere around in there, maybe 50, right in that window on the Kaiser Buffalo badge. Pete at 35. Let's get this thing on the timer. Yeah, it would make a good belt buckle. John, what did the dad buffalo say? The baby buffalo? That I do not know. I knew this buffalo here is pretty cool. Pete at 35. Bison, yep, there you go. That makes sense. Oh, that's what John responded. I thought you were saying bison, like I always get corrected. But there we go. That makes sense now that Chris said it. Bug deflector for a truck hood, that's a possibility. 1 minute has passed. We are past the 1 minute mark on this Kaiser hood badge. That's true. Chevy had a big truck call it Bison too. Minute 20 has passed. Minute 30's gone. Pete at 35. Alex at 45. $20 seconds left to go. Alex at 45 as we're winding down to the end. Kenny at 55. And that does it. Pete came in at 46, but Kenny at 55 had it covered. Kenny at 55 is where we were at 2 minutes. How about another can? Yeah, there's been some decent deals tonight. You guys have got some pretty cool stuff. This next can, we're going to go ag on you if you like ag stuff. This is a 1 gallon. It's a pretty decent can. It's got some surface rust at the bottom of it. But for our Perfect Leo, that'll work. William's here with us. For our ag-related fans who also like cans, how about Minneapolis Moline, hydraulic fluid, Hotline Parts, Minneapolis Moline, 1 gallon metal can, probably 60s. Still has a cap on it. It is empty. Minneapolis Moline Hotline Parts has the hydraulic fluid info on the back. Yeah, this is a cool can. New life for your lift with genuine Minneapolis Moline hydraulic fluid. On this 1 gallon mini can. It's about 10.5 handle included. All the way to the handle, it's about 10.5 tall. About 9 3/8 without the handle. 6 1/4 by 4. Leo at 10 on the Minneapolis Moline Hotline Parts can. It's all original paint. You can see it's got a good shine to it. Dennis at 15. And we're live on the timer on this one. Yeah, it's a great looking can. Dennis at 15. And there's the 1 minute mark. Dennis at 15 on the Minneapolis Moline can. Minute 30 has passed. Dennis at 15. That's it on this can. $20 seconds left to go. X-ray at 17. Leo at 20. Dennis at 20 also. I had Leo first. We've got a few seconds left, though. Charles at 23. And that does it. Charles at 23. Dennis at 25, just a few seconds too late. Michael at 19 over here just popped up. But Charles at 23 is who I had at 2 minutes. All right, let's do one more super cool badge tonight. Probably this has been the best badge we've got tonight. This thing looks amazing. 1924 to 1926 on this particular badge. About 2 1/4 in diameter on this awesome Studebaker. Check this thing out. Has the wheel in it here. We can see the spokes in the wheel, the Studebaker in the script across it with this banner badge. We do have some chipping up here in the white, but the blue all looks great. The spokes look great. The Studebaker has a little chip down here in this line going underneath it, but all the white here looks good. We've got a little wear over here on this tip. This is one of the ones that had a button on the back that pressed it down flat on there. But the badge itself, the badge itself still looks really good. Tweaked just a hair over here, but overall really good. Several bids. Alex at 55 as of right now is our high bidder on this piece. Like I said, 1924 to 1926 Studebaker. It does have the maker's mark inside in here into the button. A little bit of chipping down here in the blue, but overall, I mean, still a really great looking badge. So let's get it on the timer. Alex at 55 is where we're at this point. Alex at 55. One minute has passed. Alex at 55 as we come up with a minute and a half mark. Alex is going to blow everybody out of this thing before we even got started. Still a little bit of time left, but we're getting down to the wire. And that did it. Alex is at 55. All right, let's do another cool piece of literature here. This is actually a pretty neat book. I actually wrestled with whether I was going to get rid of this one or not. The Fram Oil Filter Cartridge Installation Manual. This is from the mid-50s. There's actually a flyer in here that's really cool. Actually, I will see where we're going to go with. Let's start with the flyer. The flyer goes with the book. Fram announced new low-priced Chevrolet filter package. 6 new cartridges, catalog and price information, July 15th, 1952. This is a separate flyer that is in the book, and it's going to go with the book because the book is a few years newer than this. And this actually folds open. So that's dated 1952. But this book actually shows cars newer than that. So I think this book is mid-50s based on what I am seeing. And this thing is great. Leo started off 15. We ain't even got to the book yet. The graphics are great. The illustrations are great. The pictures are great. For the Fram Oil Filter Cartridge Installation Manual. Check this thing out. It's beautiful. Now, what's in it? Now, you got to remember, in the mid-50s, a lot of cars didn't have oil filters yet. That was not a normal thing yet. When you sell your customers Fram protection, they save time, money, and motors because Fram gives them longer engine life, fewer repair bills, and better performance. This thing is in great shape. And it has filter installation instructions for multiple vehicles. Buick 53 to 55 V8. Dennis at 22. Buick Straight 8, 49 to 53 Straight 8 and 48 late 70 series. Chrysler 54-55 V8. X-Ray at 25. Dodge, DeSoto, and Plymouth. Like I said, there's tons of great pictures in this thing. Ford and Mercury V8s. Lincoln and Thunderbird. Oh, this is interesting. Thunderbird, 54 and 55. How about that? 54 Thunderbird. That sounds kind of odd. Dennis at 27. Oldsmobile. And Pontiac V8. So pretty cool piece. Dennis at 27. The flyer is going with it inside the cover. Let's get it on the timer. Let's get going. Dennis at 27. Leo at 30. One minute has passed. I've got Leo at 30. Minute 20 is gone. And there's the minute 30 mark. $20 seconds left to go. Leo at 30. Brian at 33. Eloy at 31. I've already got Brian at 33. We've got a few seconds left. Leo at 35. Eloy at 34. Few seconds left, Eloy. Are you going to sneak one more in? Kenny at 36. Brian at 36. That does it. I had Kenny at 36 at the end. Brian signing off. Kenny at 36. All right, let's knock out a few more things and then get on to the magazine. I got a few more things up here on the desk. We'll get these knocked out and be ready to go. One more license plate, one more can, one more badge, one more grease cap. How about that? How about a 1947 Kansas plate? This one happens to be for a truck. Good colors on this one. It is bent up a little bit, kind of an off-white, almost ivory with black letters. Yep, there has been some good shootouts tonight, too. That's true, Pete. This is kind of a standard size plate, 12 by about 5 3/8, so it's a little bit narrower, but 12 inches long. Truck plate because it's got the T on it. Leo starting us off at 15. Chris at 10. I've already got Leo at 15. A little bit of paint loss on the back, but the bulk of the original paint is all still here on this 1947 Kansas truck plate. Leo at 15. Like I said, this corner's rolled a little bit. Overall, it's pretty flat. We can see where this corner's rolled a little bit on the 47 Kansas truck. Leo at 15 is my high bid at this point. We are live on the timer. We are rolling with this thing. Let's see what happens on the 47 Kansas truck plate. Leo at 15 and not much else happening. Chris jumped in there right at the same time, and it's all been crickets. Even the guys on Facebook are just kind of sitting there. So. Alex at 18. 1 minute has passed. We are at the 1 minute mark. Chris at 16 right after Alex is 18. So Travis at 19. Chris is laughing. He always keeps getting beat right as soon as he puts a bid up. He's always getting outbid. There's a minute 20. We got Travis at 19. Eloy at 22 at the minute 30 mark. Chris at 20. Leo at 23. 20 seconds left to go. Eloy at 25. Travis at 26. David W. at 26. Michael at 24. Travis at 26 is who I had at 2 minutes. I had a bunch of stuff popping up, but at 2 minutes, Travis at 26 is who I had. So I had Leo and Eloy, but they were both right after the 2 minute mark. So Travis at 26 is who I had at 2 minutes. But that's what makes it fun. We've still got a couple pieces left tonight, guys. So this next little can, we've done one or two of these in the past. I found another one in a box of stuff I bought. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but it's fairly similar to some of these other ones that we've done in the past. It dripped on me a little bit there. Thought I had it all drained, but when I shook it around, I had a little drip come out. Might have been some water that was in it too after I washed it. On the little STP cooling system, stop leak, and sealer. Obviously, great colors on this thing. Great shine. New. Four and 3/4 tall, 2 5/8 wide. So this can is 4 3/4 tall. It's kind of cool. It's still got an old price tag on the back here for 92 cents. Has the STP on the back. This is dated 1971 right back here. Do not drink. That's true. 1971 STP concentrated cooling system stop leak and sealer. Here we can see the seam over here. Obviously, we can tell it's a steel can. Painted metal. This is all actual paint. Instructions and info on the back. So anyway, on the STP can, its manufacturer's just retail price was $1.50. However, at this particular store, you got it for the bargain basement price of 92 cents. Alex at 10 on the STP can. Alex is starting us off at 10. A couple more pieces after this. We are live on the timer. Getting ready to go. Leo 11. These are cute little cans. Dennis at 17. What's on the bottom? Nothing. Nothing except the two little holes where I drained it. It was dripping on me, so I was holding that under it since it dripped a little bit after I drained it, and then I washed it. And I think it had some water run down in it when I washed it. Dennis at 17. One minute has now passed. Leo 18. And there's the minute 30 mark. Dennis at 20. Seconds left to go. Dennis at 20. Coming out of the wire, Leo at 21. Few seconds left. Leo at 21. And that does it. Leo at 21. Dennis came back just a second too late. Couple more pieces, and then we'll get to the magazine. One more grease cap, one more badge. This is a great grease cap from the Essex Motor Company in Detroit, Michigan. Check this one out. Good looking piece. Hex cap, obviously. This is aluminum threaded. We can see the Essex stamped in the back of it. This one still looks pretty decent. It's got a little bit of damage around the outside perimeter, but all these old caps are going to. Like I said, I got a lot of these grease caps as I'm sorting through them, trying to find out what I've got duplicates on and things like that. So we're shuffling some new ones in every week as I'm digging through stuff. But some of these I will probably find more of at some point too. But I never know what I'm going to come up with. We've been gathering these things up for years. Alex at 25, David at 12, but I already had Alex at 25. Let me give you the dimensions on this thing, and then we're going to get on the timer. 2 3/4 across the back at the widest point, and about an inch and a half deep. David W. 26. Let's get the timer going on this thing so we can keep moving. David W. at 26 on the Essex grease cap. Dennis at 32. Ticking along, coming up on the 1 minute mark. I've got Dennis at 32 on the Essex Motors Detroit, USA grease cap. One minute has passed. And there's the minute 20 mark. And a minute 30. Dennis at 32. $20 seconds left to go. Alex at 45. And that does it. Alex at 45. David W. came back at 47, but it was a little bit too late. All right, one more badge, kind of a common one. These aren't extremely rare, but it's a good way to wrap the night up. We've done some of these in the past, but I know some of you guys haven't gotten any yet on the Chevrolet badges, the 29 to 31 era Chevys. This one is tweaked a little bit. It does have some enamel loss on it. So these, like I said, these are fairly common ones, but we haven't sold one in quite a while, and I know some of you guys probably don't have one yet. I know a lot of you guys do. It does have some paint loss or some chipping in the enamel and some enamel loss, but still nice bright blue colors on this one. Push on, pressed on button. On the back of this one, These are basically 3x3, about 3x3 on the Chevrolet bow tie. Last piece of the night, and like I said, I know we've done some of these in the past. They're not extremely rare, but I figured some of you guys probably don't have one yet. So we'll throw one more up to wrap the night up tonight on the Chevrolet badge. This is 1929 to 1931-ish on the Chevrolet badge. So live on this one, wrap this one up, last one for tonight, and then on to the raffle and the magazine. Unless nobody wants this one. No, there's no. Although there were some bids hung up. Kenny at 20. There we go. Thought something was hung up there for a minute. I know these aren't rare or super valuable, but I was like, I can't imagine somebody not wanting it. Kenny at 20. Dennis at 23. And there's the 1 minute mark. Big Job's getting an itchy finger. Minute 20's passed. Dennis at 23. And there's a minute 30. Tyler at 24 on Facebook. Michael at 26. Kenny at 25 over here, but I've got Michael at 26. And that does it. Michael Glagola at 26, Tyler at 27, just a second too late. It hit 200. I went to hit stop, and then it's Tyler at 27, W at 27, but Michael at 26 is who I had at 2 minutes, and that's the only fair way to do it. So all right. Appreciate you guys playing tonight. Tyler needed it for his 32 Chevy dirt car. That would actually be about perfect for it. Chris, going to send the plate, friends and family PayPal address. Yeah, put your address and in the note, Chris. So you guys, looks like you guys had a lot of fun. Already got great comments coming up about the auction. Yeah. And I was a little worried about it. I didn't know how many guys were going to be on tonight with it being a holiday weekend. We still had a lot of fun. We still moved a lot of cool stuff to your guys' collection. I think we had a pretty good mix tonight. So I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. And we still got a lot of super cool stuff coming up. I mean, we didn't even tip into half of what's in the pile tonight. So glad you guys enjoyed it. That's the whole purpose of it. And let's keep rolling into the raffle. And then we'll get to the magazine. Promo. Number one wants. Well, we'll have to get some promos next week, I guess. It got dropped off the backside of the box here, and I kind of forgot about it because it's behind me. Kevin's got to jump off. Glad you were here, Kevin. But who's in the raffle for this week? Who got in? You've got one more week before we're going to give away the Delco batteries, thermometer, the Moco feed sign, and the cattle farm truck. Now, if you guys don't remember, Firebird badges. Okay, we'll get those here in just a second. Thanks for reminding me, number one. I'm going to move this one right up front so I don't forget. Now, if you guys remember, Leo and his boys donated the Structo truck back. Leo won that last month. Him and his boys talked about it. They decided to voted to redonate that back for this month. Moco feed signs, courtesy of Rangeline Antique Mall in Joplin, Missouri. They donated that this month. So huge shout out to all those guys for helping out with this month's raffle. Who got in this week? Dan Buckman is in. Zach Thompson. Big job. And Kenny Peterson. If you thought you got in this week and I did not read your name off, be sure to get with me before next week so we can make sure we didn't miss anything and don't have something mixed up that you're not in the drawing for next week. We got a Hudson badge, though. So, like Leo said, let's do another bonus drawing. Bonus drawing. These bonus drawings are fun. And it's nothing super fancy or super great. They're just cool little prizes that, and like I said, they will not ship by themselves. They will go with your next shipment. If you don't buy something or win something for a month, you won't get it till then because they're just little knick-knack things. And the shipping would be more than what they cost. So, but let's yank another name out of the big Buick oil can. Obviously, Kenny has already won tonight, so he cannot win again tonight, not till next week. These are freebies. Your name goes right back into the can after we're done with the bonus drawing. I think I'm down to one name here. And it is, whoop, Kenny Peterson. So, draw again. Mark Falcon. So, obviously, Mark hasn't chimed in yet tonight, so I'm sure he's still probably under the weather a little bit, hopefully recovering successfully. But we're going to yank something out for him. We're going to get Kenny's name back in here. Dean, you have any decals or stickers? Like my stuff, I've got these stickers that are for me. Are these that dealer stuff? Not sure what you mean there, Dean. If you want to double check your comment there. So let's get something for Mark out of the new big fleet can from the El Rico company. And he gets this. All right. Got Mark on there. Let's see what's in this one. Little badge, 283 Chevy badge. So we'll tuck that back in here and get that in Mark's next package. He did have some stuff from last week. He said he was going to he'd get me a check out as soon as he got back out of the hospital. So hopefully we'll be talking to him soon. And there's the bonus drawing for Mark for this, going to Mark. So Kenny and Mark both win on the bonus drawings this week. And let's make sure that, like I said, these are freebies. They go right back into the can, so it doesn't hurt you at all on the monthly drawing. So, like I said, next Sunday night, first name gets first choice of these three pieces, which everybody I think is in love with the thermometer. So I've got a feeling it's going first. But when your backup prizes are the super cool truck redonated back by Leo and his boys, or the Moco feed sign, which is a metal double-sided painted Moco feed signs donated by Rangeline Antique Mall in Joplin, Missouri. Absolutely want to check those guys out if you get that way. So, looking forward to an exciting drawing next Sunday. So you guys don't want to miss that. All right, I need to grab these other Firebird badges, and then we're going to get into the magazine for tonight. And it's one of the mini mags, so it won't take terribly long to get through that either. So let me go grab these Firebird badges real quick for number one, so we can check that out real quick like. Oh, okay, Dean, that is where you were going. So, yeah, that's what I've got here. These three sizes. And then I've got this one that I put on cars that I do videos on, like at auctions and stuff. So, yeah, I've got all these 2, 3, and 4, and these are $2. $2, $3, $4, and then these are the $2 ones as well. So those are the stickers that I do have available, Dean. The information, if you want to get some of the PayPal information stuff, is in the text part of this video on both Facebook and YouTube. But here's some of the second gen. Obviously, this was the first generation 67 to 69 Firebird. Here's some of the second gen badges that they used that we're all familiar with. This one is a 75, 76-ish header panel badge, went between the grills. This one is a C-pillar, well, it would be called a C-pillar, technically a B-pillar on a two-door hardtop. Went on the sail panel of a late 70s era Firebird. These are both Newell stock, so they both have really nice color. They're original GM Newell stock pieces, not reproductions. So that's what we're comparison to on number one. Oh, yeah. I figured you'd remember as soon as we got them out, number one. So, yeah, there's some of the comparison between the two. Anyway, on to the magazine. Tonight's magazine, another one of the mini mags out of the viewer box. From actually a few months ago now. Still got a few more of these that we're kind of working through. Dean has a 78 400 4-speed car. Mine's a 78 400 automatic in Marty Blue, Dean. So I don't know if you've seen the video on that car. It's on the YouTube channel on my original Marty Blue 78. So what color's yours, Dean? I'm curious now. Tonight's magazine. Custom Cars, October 1958. With a very wild Ranchero and special on fiberglass customizing kits. Now, obviously, when we do these mini mags, this is the extent of your color. The cover, and that was about it. There was no other color in these things really to speak of, unless an advertiser popped for a little bit, but this was about it. A little bit of color on the cover to get your attention. These are the smaller magazines that, like some of you guys have mentioned before, fit nicely in textbooks when you were in school. Cover price, 25 cents in October of 1958. Black on black. So, yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Dad's car is black, but it's an Oldsmobile car. It was a 403 car. They put a 455 Olds in. So Dad's is black on black. Mine's a Marty Blue 400 automatic that was sold. It's been in my hometown its whole life. So cool. That's cool, Dean. Glad you got that. I'm a Trans Am geek. I got tons of them. So I always got to think I got to have more. Was a Ranchero considered a pickup? Well, basically it was just on a car chassis. So, yep, that's right. They had to sell the whole magazine from the cover. That's for sure. But anyway, what's in this thing? Starting off with the cover car, the high-class hauler, Dick Tiego's revamped Ranchero, a blend of the proud and practical. This was a 57 Ranchero, and you've got to remember, this magazine is October of 58. This is a 57 Ranchero. This magazine was put out in October of 58, which means this was going to print in August of 58. This was a 57 Ranchero. Kind of weird when you put it into perspective. Standing only 50 inches high because it is chopped and lowered. The candy green and lime 57 owes its Lotus to a 3-inch chop. And it also has a 57 DeSoto front bumper. The front coil springs were cut. The rear leaves were de-arched to lower it even further. So this is an entire 57 Ford sitting at 50 inches high. Pretty wild considering that is a 1-year-old car. So crazy to think about that. The next article, Travis has to bail off. Glad you hung out for a while tonight, Travis. Glad you love the show. And there's several pages on this and a lot of pictures. So we're going to study a lot of this, but it's also related to what we saw on the cover. Fiberglass Magic, epoxy resin combined with fiberglass cloth or chemical paste is your inexpensive formula for do-it-yourself customizing. So this is actually a good chunk of this magazine. Now, they did mention it on the front cover. Fiberglass was obviously almost a foreign material at this point. Obviously, there again, the Corvette had just come out a few years before this. Fiberglass was just kind of starting to be something more mainstream that more people were starting to get familiar with. But a lot of people still didn't know much about it. And that's what they cover in here. So we're going to go through some of this. There's a lot of pictures, so we're going to spend a lot of time looking at these pictures. The first example they're giving us is Frenching headlights. It shows some kits and shows the techniques for Frenching headlights. Here's some of the kits you can buy, and then laying out and Frenching in headlights with fiberglass kits. Michael's got to jump off on Facebook. Glad you made it tonight, Michael. Glad you hung out for most of it. Leo's bailing off. So, Bill, this got to go. Yep. So, let's see what, maybe we won't get through the magazine. We'll see how many of you guys stick around. I know it's getting late for a lot of you guys, so. And the next article, filling trim holes with fiberglass. In this particular instance, they removed the trunk handle off of a 53 Chevy. Yes, Cameo did use fiberglass bedsides from 55 to 59. I think they made a few 59s, or maybe 58. 58, I think. 55, 56, 57, 58, Dean. Cameo used, and basically what it was, because I had a 57 Cameo that I just sold a year or so ago, was a stock step-side bed. It was a regular metal step-side bed. They just bolted those fiberglass sides on them. And I heard at one point somebody told me that was due to a contract they had with a supplier on Corvette parts that they needed to fulfill. So they tried to make an upscale pickup because they were using one of their Corvette suppliers. And you are correct, Dean. They were fiberglass bedsides on Cameos from 55 to 58, as well as the GMC Suburban. Now, we say GMC Suburban, we think of a big SUV. And in 55, the Suburban was the GMC equivalent to the Chevy Cameo. That's a good point, Dean. That's a very good point. And let's see, what else are we doing? More fiberglass work using paste kits. And Fiberglass Magic mold-on accessories. I thought this was extremely interesting, especially some of these. Ready-made fiberglass restyling components are rapidly growing popular with today's custom car builders. Pieces like that seen here, rear fender fins made for 49 to 54 Forge are a simple lamination job, as well as Impala roof caps, simulated Continental kits, all kinds of cool stuff. Check this out. Literally a 58 Impala roof scoop that you could mold onto anything. Fins, simulated Continental kit or spare tire mounts. And we're going to get into some more of this on these coming pages. But there again, this is a whole different world at this point. Yeah, I know it's been a long weekend. I slept good last night. Friday night was terrible. I didn't sleep hardly at all Friday night. It was pretty slow going yesterday, but since I didn't have a good night, it's Friday night. I didn't get going yesterday, so I didn't get out of here till midnight again last night. So, But here, the mold-on accessories, putting fins on your Ford. I'll check and see if it had a manufacturer on some of those. Let's see if it had a company that said that manufactured these. The rear fender fins above and these neatly styled false Continental kits are products of Brandon Industries, 1517cc New York Avenue, Lansing, Michigan. The Impala roof scoop, you could write to, and you wrote, you didn't call, text, email, fax. You wrote to Enoch Chevrolet, 8733cc Long Beach Boulevard, Southgate, California. The next false Continental kit and rear fender fins were made by the Fiberglass Evercoat Company Incorporated, 7608cc Reading Road, Cincinnati, Ohio. So it did list the manufacturers. Great point, Pete. I'm glad you brought that up because I had not caught that. We haven't seen any cruiser skirts yet, Dean, but I think they're coming up. I remember when I was getting this ready last night, I think it does get in some cruiser skirts here in a little bit. So. Yeah, this little mini mag probably shouldn't take another 10 or 15 minutes, big job. So we'll just get this knocked out since these go fairly quick. But actually, that was about it. I thought there was more fiberglass in here, but I thought it did get in some cruiser skirts, Dean, but it does not. So, but we're going to check out some more custom cars from 1958, including a 54 Chevy with a subtle touch. 53 grill, 56 Chrysler taillights on this 54 Chevy Custom. And an article on car shows. Show your car and win. With your car's preparation completed, the dramatic climax to its debut in competition lies in the display. Talking about how you display your car at a car show. So I'm going to show you a few pictures, and then we're going to back up to the first page of the article because I want to show you who wrote it. But it shows how these guys literally were setting these cars up for display. Little white picket fence, trophies, carpet, signs, all kinds of cool stuff to tell the story of your car. We do still see some of this today. Show your car and win in 1958. Some more car show displays on how to make your car stand out. Now back to the first part of the article, and this is what was super interesting. Written by the man himself, George Barris. And we've seen that in a lot of these mini mags. George Barris, Gene Winfield. We saw these guys. They were writing the articles. They were taking the pictures. They were building the car. They were literally completely immersed in the hobby. That's why today they are legends. Obviously, we've lost George Barris. Gene Winfield, still with us, well into his 90s, still working, still doing custom cars. I don't know if he plans on hitting a lot of shows this year, but I know up until a year or two ago, Gene Winfield was still hitting a lot of car shows. He actually gave Addie her first welding lesson in Kansas City at World of Wheels one year. She was looking at welds. He pulled her behind the rope, threw a helmet on her, and started welding with her. So Gene Winfield, another amazing guy. It's so cool to see these names pop up in these old magazines. So that was pretty cool for Addie that Gene Winfield literally pulled her behind the ropes, threw a helmet on her, and they started laying some beads down. So. But that's who those guys are. I mean, they were amazing, stewards of the hobby, and still are. Even and we're losing some of them, but still amazing that we've got them. There's going to be some really interesting stuff coming up that, Ed Iskandarian sat down with Alex a while back, spent a lot of time talking to Alex Taylor. Dennis was telling me all about that deal. And, fortunately, some of these legends that are still around, we're getting some of this stuff on content. We're getting it taped. So fortunately, that's still happening. And we're saving some of this stuff because we do still have some of these guys left, but they're getting thinner all the time. Here's another interesting one that, you really didn't see much of, especially back then. And there again, we're in 1958, and this is a 54 Ford, but it's a four-door. You didn't see many customized four-doors. This one was. That's right, Randy. Yeah, it's been a couple years. I don't know if he was at World of Wheels this year in Kansas City because we didn't make it this year. It was the same weekend as Wichita Swap Meet. But, yeah, he's done a lot of that. An amazing guy, super great guy. And some more shots of it. You're right. Even for a four-door, it is pretty classy. Big job. A ton of work in that car, especially considering that was a 4-year-old car at that time. Styling Studio by Dick Collier. What's in Styling Studio this month? Taillights. Different customized taillights. So when Dad buys the car, lets you do the customization. Yeah, that's could very well be right. Scott on Facebook, Gene will be 96 on June 16th. So, and like I said, I don't know that he's traveling anymore, but it was so amazing that even up to a few years ago, he still was. So thanks for throwing that up there, Scott. Gene will be 96 on June 16th. Now, the next article, something we don't think about much today at all. Because in today's world, you literally can, in fact, my buddy sells the tool for it. You set up your tire and wheel package. You set up your offsets depending on your brakes, your stance, your width, your clearance, your height. You can literally custom order, for even fairly reasonably custom order wheels anymore. Some wheels can be, several $1,000s a piece, but anymore, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you can order a set of custom wheels, exactly the way you want them. Back in 1958, that didn't happen. It just didn't happen. There were not hardly any aftermarket wheels in 1958 at all. So what you had were wheel covers. And this next article, what's new in hubcaps? Obviously, we talk about hubcaps on here a lot. We sell a lot of them. We add a lot of them to your collection. I have them in my collection. But back then, you customized your hubcaps to match your car. And they've got some great shots on different customized wheel covers here that we're going to let you check out on these next coming up pages. Because that's what you did back in 58. And some of these got pretty trick. And you remember we seen in some of the J.C. Whitney ads and some of the Honest Charlie ads, you could order bars, you could order stars, you could order anything, flippers, you could order all kinds of stuff. So another quick feature car, the mode for Mercs. And this is pretty wild. 56 Merc, but a lot of customization. This thing, 58 Chevy headlights, 54 Chevy grill. I mean, this was pretty wild there again in a 2-year-old car. Obviously, a 56 Merc had one headlight with a big hooded headlight bezel that stuck out way over the headlight. Swapped in 58 Chevy quads, which going to quad headlights was a big deal back in the late 50s. And the last article we're going to check out is actually several pages. That's kind of why I wanted to get to it. And in today's world, it is extremely common. And in fact, it's about the only thing that gets customized today. Obviously, pickups have become the way of the world. People use them for everyday drivers, even if they don't need a truck. They are great to travel in. That's right, Kenny. There's a lot of great pictures in here for sure. But back in the late 50s, pickups were still workhorses. You had a custom car, you didn't have a custom truck. The truck's what you ran to get parts in. Well, this article, and it has a ton of pictures. Kenny said we got great pictures. Wait till we get through this segment on pickups. There's like 8 pages of pictures. Custom ideas for late model pickups. Of course, late model being 50s. Obviously, in today's world, you see pickups with all kinds of accessories, running boards, step bars, grill guards, lights, all kinds of custom stuff. That's really the only thing that gets customized anymore. You don't see anybody doing anything to a car anymore because you don't hardly see any cars either. Custom ideas for late model pickups. Let's check out some of these awesome pictures. And more. Now, there's going to be several pages of these. So, all kinds of custom trips or custom tips for these trucks, which at the time was just not very common. And that's another good point, number one. That's a great point, actually. A's and T's were extremely popular, were getting hard to find, so people were starting to customize the stuff that they were driving. And a few more here with all kinds of custom tricks. Dean remembers the old skirts on pickups. Yeah. Something you don't really think about much anymore. So let's catch a couple ads. There's not a lot of ads in here, which we think, we look back at today, looking back at all the magazines we do, we see how few ads these mini mags had in them. It's kind of easy to see why they didn't stick around for very long. They were a pretty big deal there in the late 50s, early 60s, then they kind of fizzled out. They didn't sell a lot of advertising. I do know that. But obviously, in this particular issue, based on what we've seen, there had to be a few ads in there for fiberglass. Yes, the fiberglass, FYBRGLAS, metal repair and customizing kit. Only $1.98 and up. 5 to choose from. Big value kits. From $1.98 all the way up to $99.95. The $99.95 kit says there is enough in kit number 334 to build a hardtop, or 2 kits will make a complete sports car body. Yes, literally. This fiberglass kit, you could order as much or as little as you wanted. Here's their kits. The big kahuna at $99.95 2 of those could actually had enough material in it to build your own sports car body. I don't know how they figured that, not knowing what your dimensions would be, but that's what they said. So, and obviously, there again, new technology, almost kind of voodoo stuff, but obviously still around today, still popular today, and still works. Next, of course, the obligatory J.C. Whitney ad in every one of these magazines. Electric push button door kit, 2-tone mufflers, Continental kit, snap-on racing discs, fender skirts, scallops, all including you could also get a Bermuda clanging bell. I don't know why you would want a Bermuda clanging bell, but they had it available in J.C. Whitney right here in 1958. Couple of more ads. Thought this was kind of odd in the back of another magazine, but I'm betting that they were somehow related. Probably all products. These were probably both products of Peterson Publishing, I'm guessing. Full page ad for Hot Rod magazine. Oops. And one more thing to check out, the back cover. Obviously, if almost just as common as seeing J.C. Whitney, Honest Charlie, order by mail, honest new items, color chrome, pinstriping, Hollywood wolf whistle, lowering blocks, deluxe chrome generator cover, new Fiesta type chrome wheel covers with check background. So there we go. The 1958 October issue of Custom Cars, cover price 25 cents on tonight's mini mag. So with that pretty much covers us for the night. Yeah, you can. I think you can still buy wolf whistles. So what else is coming up this week on videos? New inventory. I got to get some of that new inventory up. Got one more from the Auburn Cord Duesenberg. Hopefully we're going to see those guys when we go back to Tulsa on their archives. We'll get the Auburn Cord Duesenberg video up on their archives. Doug has been sorting through a lot of their paperwork, has a big cabinet of this stuff. Since his son Adam's taken over the day-to-day running of the shop, Doug's been sorting out the paperwork, the documentation that they have had. They've had it for over 60 years. A lot of this stuff is 100 years old now. Getting it organized so they have it accessible when people have questions about these cars. Glad you guys like the mag. Some of the guys on Facebook and YouTube, both, everybody liked the little magazine. They're a lot of fun. These little ones, there's not as much in them. They go fairly quick, but that's cool. We can squeeze them in. So we're going to get some more from the Auburn Cord Duesenberg. Hopefully get that archive video up. Toy Tuesday, we've got a viewer box once again. Jim sent us a great packet last week. We've got a viewer box to bust open this week on Toy Tuesday as well. So anyway, that being said, that pretty much wraps up what I've got. I'm going to keep an eye on comments here for a few more seconds as we get ready to wind down. We've still got a few of you on that made her to the end tonight. I was a little skeptical, not knowing for sure, and we were down a little bit being a holiday weekend, but it wasn't terrible. We didn't have nobody show up, so I guess that's a good thing. We still had a solid crowd. We still had a lot of fun with everything we did tonight. Auctions, magazine, and everything included badges, promo. So glad you guys enjoyed it. and glad you had fun. Yep, it's going to be, I'm working tomorrow again. I worked yesterday, I worked today, I'll work tomorrow. That's just the way it goes. So anyway, keep an eye on comments on both formats here as we get ready to wind down, just in case anybody else has anything else they want to throw up here at the last second. Other than that, you hung in there, Dean. That's that you did. So glad it worked out. Glad everybody enjoyed it, and still amazes me that you guys keep coming back week after week, and we do this every week for 165 times. But you still like it, so we're still working on it, and I'm glad you're enjoying it and basically spending pretty much your whole Sunday evening here with all of us nobodies. So appreciate all the comments on the great show, and you enjoyed it. I do what I can. I do work on it. You guys know I build this out every week and try to put together a quality product for you every Sunday night. So I appreciate you coming by and supporting it. Let your friends know that we're on. Have them come over and join us. Tell them we're having a good time. And with that, I'm going to get ready to wind this thing down. We'll see some of you Tuesday evening live on Toy Tuesday as we bust open that new viewer box. Still got a bunch of stuff that we haven't gotten to on Toy Tuesday, but I don't want to miss the viewer box since it's here. I've got signs I bought in Lawrence. I bought some more signs in Hutch last week. I cleaned one of those up today, and it's rough. It's rough, but it's extremely rare. So I went ahead and bought it. I probably paid too much money for it, but I got it cleaned up. Well, it's double-sided. I cleaned the better side because that's the side I'm going to hang. So I didn't spend a lot of time scrubbing the side that I'm not going to see, but I got that sign cleaned up. So we've got several signs coming up on Toy Tuesdays. Throwing Sparks. And that's right, Throwing Sparks, and that's another good thing we definitely want to mention. Huge shout out to all of our veterans. Obviously their sacrifices and service is what allows us to do what we do, and that's why we're here. And don't forget that this weekend, guys. I know a lot of people are out there enjoying themselves, barbecues, lake, but that's the reason we're here is thanks to all of our veterans, and that's what's important. So please keep that in mind this weekend as you're enjoying your family activities and having a good time. If it weren't for our veterans, we wouldn't be here where we're at today enjoying what we do and hanging out with the freedoms that we have. So let's see. Looks like that's about it. Looks like we're getting caught up on everything. We'll see some of you Tuesday night live. We'll definitely see you back here next Sunday night live again at 7 Central for Sunday night live chat. If you're thinking about going to Mecum, Tulsa, let me know. Get a hold of me, and we'll see if we can pencil that in. Maybe we can do a live from the auction if there's several of us there or something. Well, I don't know. We'll figure something out. Even it may be wrong, but we'll figure something out. So appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate your support, swinging by, making this thing what it is. Let your friends know. We'll see some of you Tuesday night. We'll get some of these other videos up this week, and we will definitely hope to see you right back here next Sunday night. David W. Cameos and IH Golden Jubilee were like factory custom trucks. That's 200% correct. I forgot about the IHC Golden Jubilees. Those were great too. We will definitely hope to see you back here next Sunday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time for more Sunday Night Live chat so we can give away all 3 of these epic pieces next week. Make sure your name is in here in the Big Buick oil can before next Sunday afternoon, so you got a shot at winning those prizes. So a week from tomorrow, those things are coming down, getting boxed up, and going to their new owners. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you coming by, swinging by tonight, and hanging out with us. We'll see you, some of you Tuesday night, and definitely we will see you back here next Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, Sunday Night Live Chat. Have a great week, everybody. Have a great Memorial Day tomorrow. Don't forget why we have the Memorial Day tomorrow, and thank all those veterans out there for the sacrifices that let us do what we do. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you Tuesday night.